Hello and welcome to Foster Recap. Today, I am going to discuss a movie called Demolition, which is emotional and psychological. Before we begin, I kindly request that you consider subscribing to our channel. While it may seem small to you, it greatly encourages us. Please subscribe if you enjoy our content. The movie starts with the main protagonist, Davis, in a car, talking to his father-in-law and boss, Philosophy. He asks Davis to hand over his phone to his daughter, Julia. Phil discusses Julia's fight with her mother, but she ignores him and hangs up the phone. Julia complains to Davis that he is not paying attention to her and hasn't fixed the fridge leak. Suddenly, their car is struck by another vehicle, and the screen fades. After some time, Phil wakes up Davis and reveals the unfortunate news that Julia has passed away. Davis doesn't react much and doesn't show much emotion. He goes to the washroom and tries to buy a chocolate from a vending machine, but it gets stuck. Davis becomes angry and goes to complain to the hospital staff, but they ignore him since the vending machine is not hospital property. Davis takes a photo of the vending machine and goes home, sleeping alone in his bed. The next morning, his parents come to comfort him, and they all attend Julia's funeral. Davis still doesn't feel any emotions. Upon returning home, Davis tries to cry in front of the mirror, but it's futile. He starts writing a complaint letter to the vending machine company, expressing his inconvenience at the hospital. He later explains the death of his wife and how he doesn't feel sadness in his daily routine. Davis works as an investment banker at a firm founded and run by his father-in-law Philosophy. He met Julia at a party, and they both hook up. Eventually, they fell in love, got married, and Phil accepted Davis as his son-in-law. Davis ends the letter by requesting a fast refund for the vending machine issue. Phil approaches Davis and asks if he's okay, but Davis leaves silently. The next day, Davis goes to the office, and everyone is shocked to see him there so early. They try to sympathize with him. Phil takes him for a drink and reveals his plan to start a scholarship program in Julia's name using her insurance money. Davis agrees. Later, he starts writing another letter to the vending machine company, describing the daily incidents he encounters, the sympathy from people, and his parents taking care of him, all of which seems strange to him. While on the train, Davis talks to a man he meets daily. He confesses that he didn't love his wife and didn't feel anything. When the man asks how he feels, Davis panics and abruptly stops the train. The police arrest him but release him upon learning about his recent loss. He drops off his parents at the airport and spends a day at the airport, observing people. Davis posts his letter, returns home, and notices the fridge leaking. He starts dismantling it. Late at night, Karen, a woman from the vending machine company's customer service, calls Davis. She introduces herself and tells him that she cried while reading his letter. They have a conversation, and she hangs up. Julia's parents invite Davis for dinner, but he leaves to meet Karen, who tells him she's in a nearby restaurant. While he waits inside, she watches him from her car. She reveals herself, hiding in the shadows, and shares that she has a 15-year-old child and works in customer service. The next day at the office, Davis seems unfocused. When Phil asks about it, Davis gives a silly answer, leading Phil to send him out. Davis dismantles a bathroom stall and his work computer. He goes to the vending machine company and meets the owner, Carl. Davis asks about Karen, but Carl refuses to provide any information and lies, claiming that no one named Karen works there. The next day, while traveling on the train, Davis notices a woman spying on him. He approaches her casually, trying to confirm if she is Karen, but she denies it and quickly leaves. However, Davis finds a magazine she left behind, which contains her address. Curious, he goes to the address and discovers that Carl is actually Karen's boyfriend. Davis realizes that Karen is the woman he spoke to at the restaurant and decides not to cause any trouble. The following day, Davis goes to his office, and Phil calls him, questioning the mess he created and ultimately suspending him. Feeling lost, Davis seeks out a demolition worker and offers them $200 to join their team. They agree, and Davis starts destroying things alongside them. Afterward, he returns home and to his surprise, Karen shows up and wants to talk. She understands Davis and invites him to her home, explaining that her boyfriend Carl is out of town. They sleep in separate beds, and in the morning, Davis meets Chris, Karen's arrogant son who has been suspended from school for 2 weeks due to his behavior. Davis and Chris introduce themselves, and Davis clarifies that he is not Karen's new boyfriend. Karen and Davis go to the carousel, a place that Davis and Julia used to visit frequently during the early stages of their relationship. Later, they have fun at the beach, sharing their thoughts and growing closer. Davis also forms a bond with Chris, acting as a mentor figure to him. He even teaches Chris how to shoot a gun, so later he can use his skill in school. And is amazed by Chris's drumming skills. Davis records a chair drumming musical piece and takes it to his office, listening to it along the way.
アイスクリーム北の国から美味しさを届けに来たアイスクリーム丸い幸せよく冷えているよ
After arriving at the office, Davis joins his in-laws in funding a foundation named after Julia, which will grant an annual scholarship. During the interviews, Davis displays disrespectful behavior towards one of the candidates. As a result, Phil asks him to sign over his beneficiary rights and Julia's $2.6 million life insurance policy to the scholarship fund. Davis signs the document and goes to a store with Chris to purchase some tools. It is during this time that Chris reveals he is gay. Davis responds calmly and says it's okay, boosting Chris's confidence. They then join forces to demolish Davis's house, breaking it down and having fun in the process. While demolishing the house, Davis discovers an ultrasound image of Julia's from the previous year. Devastated by the fact that she never informed him, he decides to attend the scholarship party. Davis shaves his beard for the occasion and brings Karen along. This greatly troubles Julia's parents. While Davis is talking with Phil, Karen goes outside, where a young boy behaves inappropriately towards her. Phil later introduces the same boy as the scholarship winner. Karen laughs but feels bad and leaves the party. Davis then announces to everyone that Julia was pregnant and had kept it a secret. He also reveals his intention to leave. Julia's mother informs Davis that his wife was seeing someone else, and the child was not his. She had an abortion. Julia had planned to tell him and apologize, but her mother opposed it. This revelation explains the fight between Julia and her mother before her death. Davis goes to Karen's house and discovers that Carl has returned and is reading the letters Davis had written to Karen. Carl assaults Davis and beats him and kicking his ass. Meanwhile, Karen receives a call informing her that Chris has been bullied and admitted to the hospital after coming out as gay. Davis arrives and comforts Karen. Later, Davis is at Julia's grave when he sees a man carrying flowers getting out of a car. Davis mistakes him for the man Julia was seeing, but he turns out to be Michael, the driver of the car that killed Julia. Davis forgives Michael. Inside his car, Davis experiences a rush of emotions and pain over the loss of his wife. He has flashbacks of their time together, and finally, he cries, finding closure. Davis has turned a corner in his healing process. He reconciles with Julia's parents and asks Phil to contribute to refurbishing a carousel that was destined for demolition as a memorial for Julia. Davis gets his job back and begins living a more peaceful life. One day, Davis receives a letter from Chris, informing him that he is recovering from the beating, his mother has left Carl, and Davis must be at Pier 54 at a specific time. Davis goes to the pier and witnesses the demolition of some waterfront buildings across the Hudson River. Chris watches Davis through binoculars from a nearby vantage point. As Davis walks away from the pier, he sees a few children running. He starts running faster and overtakes them, finally accomplishing his wish. The movie concludes with Davis finding a sense of closure and moving forward in life. The end.